train's whistle screamed across the Dakota plains, and Amara Johnson gripped her carpet bag tighter. 3 weeks of travel from Philadelphia had left her dress dusty and her hope fragile. Through the window, she saw nothing but endless grass and a sky so vast it felt like drowning. The station was little more than a wooden platform. No town, no buildings, just wide and emptiness. She stepped down, boots hitting packed earth. The conductor handed her trunk to the platform and tipped his hat. "Good luck, miss." The train pulled away, leaving her in silence so complete it rang in her ears. Clayton Burke was supposed to be here. Her husband, the man whose letters promised a ranch, a home, a future. She'd never seen his face, but his words had been kind. Desperate times called for desperate choices, and a mail-order marriage was better than starving in a Philadelphia tenement. She waited. An hour passed, then 2. The sun dropped toward the horizon, painting the grasslands gold and red. Fear crept up her spine. She was alone in a territory she didn't know, with $23 to her name and no way back. A rider appeared in the distance. Relief flooded through her until she saw his face. Not Clayton. This man was Lakota, dressed in a mix of traditional and settler clothing, his long black hair tied back. His eyes were dark and careful. He reined his horse beside the platform. "You're waiting for Clayton Burke." It wasn't a question. "Yes, I'm his wife." "Well, I will be. We're to be married when?" "He's dead." The words hit like a fist. Amara's legs went weak. "That's not possible. I received a letter from him just 3 weeks ago." The man's expression didn't change. His ranch burned 2 weeks back. They found a body inside. "I'm sorry." Her vision blurred. This couldn't be happening. She sold everything. Left everything for this. "There's nothing here for you," the man continued. His voice was steady but not unkind. "Next train comes through in 4 days. You should be on it." 4 days? Panic seized her chest. "I have no money for lodging. No food. Where am I supposed to?" "You can come with me." She stared at him. "I don't even know who you are." "Takoda White Eagle. My people are camped 3 miles west. We have food and shelter." Every instinct screamed danger. She was a black woman alone with a stranger in hostile territory, but the alternative was freezing on his platform. "Why would you help me?" Something flickered in his eyes. Sadness, maybe, or recognition, because I know what it's like to arrive somewhere and find nothing but ashes. The wind picked up, cold and sharp. Winter was coming. Amara looked at the empty prairie, then at the man on the horse. She traveled 3,000 miles on a promise that turned to smoke. She had no choices left. "Take me to your camp." Takoda extended his hand. She took it, and he pulled her up behind him. As they rode into the falling darkness, Amara didn't look back. There was nothing behind her anymore, only the unknown ahead. The camp materialized from the darkness like a ghost. Canvas tents mixed with traditional teepees, smoke rising from cooking fires. Voices carried on the wind speaking in Lakota. Amara felt every eye turned toward her as Takoda guided his horse through the settlement. A woman emerged from the largest tent. She was perhaps 50, her face lined with years of sun and hardship. Her expression was stone. "You bring a stranger here? Now?" Her English was perfect but edged with anger. "She has nowhere else to go, Kimmy Mella," Takoda said, dismounting. He helped Amara down. She was meant to marry Clayton Burke. Kimmy Mella's eyes narrowed. "Burke is dead. She should be on the next train east. The next train is 4 days away. 4 days is 4 days too many. We have our own problems, Takoda. We don't need hers." Amara's face burned. She'd faced this before. Different faces, same rejection. Too black for some places, too much of an outsider for others. Always unwanted. "I can work," Amara said, lifting her chin. "I can cook, clean, sew. I can tend animals. I won't take charity." Kimamela studied her with sharp eyes. "You think you can survive out here? This isn't Philadelphia." Amara's jaw tightened. "How did you know I'm from Philadelphia?" "Your dress, your hands, the way you look at the horizon like it might swallow you whole." Kimamela stepped closer. "This land eats soft people. What makes you think you're different?" "I'm not soft." Amara met her gaze. "I've survived plenty." I'll survive this too. A long silence stretched between them. Finally, Kimmy Mella nodded once. You sleep in my tent. You work starting at dawn. If you slack, you leave. Understood? Understood. Takoda released a breath. Thank you, Kimmy Mella. Don't thank me yet. She turned to Amara. Come. The tent was sparse but warm. Blankets, a small stove, tools hanging from the frame. Kimmy Mella handed Amara a bowl of stew without ceremony. Eat, then sleep. Tomorrow you'll earn your keep. Amara ate in silence, the food warming her from the inside. When she finished, Kimmy Mella pointed to a pile of blankets in the corner. Why does everyone here speak English so well? Amara asked carefully. Kimmy Mella's expression darkened. The government prefers it, makes it easier to lie to us in our own language. She sat down heavily. We were forced into schools, beaten if we spoke Lakota. They wanted to kill the Indian and save the man. They failed. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be useful. Kimmy Mella's voice softened slightly. Takoda told me about the ranch. Did you love him? Clayton Burke? Amara hesitated. I never met him. It was an arrangement. Then you're lucky he's dead. Why would you say that? Because Clayton Burke was a coward and a drunk. He ran that ranch into the ground, then sold it to pay his debts. Kimmy Mella leaned forward. 2 weeks before it burned, he told anyone who'd listened that he was leaving. Said he had a fresh start coming. Then the fire happened, and suddenly there's a body. Amara's blood ran cold. You think he's alive? I think men like Burke don't die conveniently. They disappear. Before Amara could respond, shouting erupted outside. Takoda's voice, sharp with alarm. Both women rushed out. A rider had arrived, his horse lathered with sweat. He spoke rapidly in Lakota, gesturing wildly toward the south. Takoda's face went rigid. He turned to the gathered crowd. Everyone listen. William Cortland's men were seen surveying our land today. They're marking boundaries. Murmurs of anger rippled through the camp. This is our land, an older man said. The treaty? Cortland doesn't care about treaties. Takoda cut in. He wants the water rights, the grazing land. He'll find a way to take it. Then we fight, someone shouted. We can't fight the U.S. Army, Kimmy Mella said quietly. If Cortland brings soldiers, we lose everything. Amara's mind raced. What if Burke sold more than his ranch? What if he sold information? Access. All eyes turned to her. What are you talking about? Takoda asked. Kimmy Mella said Burke was desperate for money. What if someone paid him for something more valuable than land? Like knowledge of your camp? Your numbers? Your resources? Takoda's expression shifted. Cortland would need that information to build a legal case for eviction, to prove we're squatting on unclaimed territory. But this is claimed, the older man protested, by treaty, by blood. Treaties are paper, Takoda said bitterly. Cortland will burn them if it suits him. Amara felt the weight of their stares. She'd been here less than 2 hours, and already she was entangled in something far larger than her own survival. The ranch, she said slowly. Burke's ranch. If he faked his death, there might be evidence there. Papers, records, something that shows what he sold and to whom. The ranch is ashes, Kimmy Mella said. But maybe the ashes can still talk. Amara looked at Takoda. Take me there. Tomorrow. Let me see what's left. Takoda studied her for a long moment. Why do you care? You could leave in 4 days and forget all of this. Amara thought of the train platform. The emptiness. The feeling of having nothing and no one. Because you gave me shelter when you had every reason not to. Because I'm tired of running from places that don't want me. She paused. And because if Burke used me as part of some scheme, I want to know why. Takoda nodded slowly. Dawn. We ride at dawn. The camp dispersed, tension thick in the air. As Amara returned to Kimmy Mella's tent, she caught the older woman watching her with something that might have been respect. You're either very brave or very foolish, Kimmy Mella said. Can I be both? For the first time, Kimmy Mella almost smiled. Get some sleep, Philadelphia. Tomorrow you'll need it. Amara lay down on the blankets, exhaustion pulling at her bones. But sleep wouldn't come. Somewhere out there, Clayton Burke might be alive, And if he was, he'd abandon her to a fate he knew would be cruel. She'd find the truth, whatever it cost. Dawn came cold and gray. Amara woke to find Kimmy Miller already gone, the tent empty except for bread and dried meat left on a wooden plate. She ate quickly, then stepped outside. The camp was alive with activity. Women tended fires, children carried water, men repaired tools and checked weapons. Everyone had purpose. Everyone belonged, except her. But Takoda appeared leading 2 horses. He changed into sturdy riding clothes, and a rifle was strapped to his saddle. His face was unreadable. Ready? Amara nodded, though her stomach churned with nerves. She'd ridden before, but not like this, not into danger. They rode south in silence, the grassland stretching endlessly in every direction. After an hour, Takoda finally spoke. Kimmy Miller doesn't trust easily. I noticed. She lost her husband and 2 sons to the reservation system. Soldiers came, made promises, then broke every one. She's seen what happens when we trust outsiders. Amara absorbed this. And you? Do you trust me? Takoda glanced at her. I don't know you well enough to trust you, but I believe you want answers. That's enough for now. Another mile passed before the ruins came into view. The ranch was exactly as Takoda had described. Ashes and charred timber, a stone chimney standing like a tombstone. The barn had collapsed entirely. Blackened fence posts marked what had been corrals. Amara dismounted, her heart heavy. Whatever dreams Clayton Burke had sold her, they died here. Where was the body found, she asked. Takoda pointed to the collapsed section of the main house. There, sheriff said it was too burned to identify, but Burke's horse was in the barn. His rifle was inside. They assumed it was him. Assumed. Amara walked carefully through the debris, her boots crunching on charred wood. Did anyone actually confirm it? The sheriff. Man named Vernon Hicks. He's Cortland's cousin. Amara froze. The sheriff is related to the cattle baron trying to take your land. Welcome to Dakota Territory. Dakota's voice was bitter. Law and money are the same thing out here. Amara knelt near the chimney, sifting through ashes. Most of it was useless, but then her fingers touched something solid. She pulled out a metal box, badly burned but intact. Takoda. He was beside her in seconds. The box was locked, but the fire had weakened the metal. Takoda pried it open with his knife. Inside were papers, partially burned but readable. Amara's hands shook as she unfolded the first document. It was a land deed transfer, dated 3 weeks before the fire. Clayton Burke had sold his ranch to William Cortland for $500. $500, Takoda said quietly. This land is worth 10 times that. He was desperate. Amara found another paper. This one made her blood run cold. It was a map of the surrounding territory, with Takoda's camp marked clearly. Notes in the margins detailed water sources, number of families, livestock counts. He was spying on you, Amara whispered, selling information. Takoda's jaw clenched. Cortland needed proof we were using resources that could be claimed as public land. Burke gave him exactly that. The final document was a letter, partially burned. Amara could only make out fragments. Payment received. New identity arranged, California. She arrives Tuesday. Won't suspect. She. Amara's vision blurred with rage. He was going to use me, marry me for appearances, then disappear with Cortland's money. I was part of his escape plan. Amara, he brought me here to die. Her voice cracked. Or to be abandoned. Either way, he never intended to keep any promise he made. Takoda placed a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry. She wanted to scream, to cry. But grief was a luxury she couldn't afford. She folded the papers carefully and stood. We need to show these to your people. This proves Cortland and Burke conspired together. It proves a gunshot cracked across the prairie. Takoda shoved Amara down behind the chimney as a second shot hit the stone inches from her head. Splinters of rock exploded outward. Riders, Takoda hissed, pulling his rifle free. 3 of them, coming fast. Amara's heart hammered. Through the gaps in the chimney, she saw 3 men on horseback, rifles raised. They wore no uniforms, but their intent was clear. Cortland's men? She gasped. Probably. Takoda fired twice, forcing the riders to scatter. They'd been watching the ranch, waiting to see if anyone came looking. Another volley of shots rang out. The riders had split up, circling the ruins. They were being surrounded. "We can't fight 3 armed men," Amara said. "No, we run." Takoda grabbed her hand. "The horses, now." They sprinted across open ground. Bullets kicked up dirt around their feet. Amara's lungs burned, terror giving her speed she didn't know she had. They reached the horses just as one of the riders closed in. Takoda fired, and the man's horse reared, throwing him, but the other 2 were right behind. "Ride," Takoda shouted. Amara swung onto her horse, clutching the reins. She'd barely ridden in years, but instinct took over. She dug her heels in, and the horse bolted. Takoda was right behind her, firing over his shoulder. The landscape blurred as they galloped north, gunfire echoing across the plains. One of the riders was gaining. Amara could hear the thunder of hooves, feel the hot breath of pursuit. She leaned low over her horse's neck, praying it wouldn't stumble. Takoda pulled alongside her. "The river. Head for the river." Amara saw it ahead, a dark line cutting through the grassland. The water would slow the horses, but it might give them cover. They plunged down the embankment, water spraying as the horses crashed into the shallow river. The current tugged at them, cold and fierce. Amara's horse stumbled, and she nearly fell. Behind them, the riders reached the bank. One raised his rifle. Takoda fired first. The man jerked backward, clutching his shoulder. The other rider hesitated, then turned back, dragging his wounded companion with him. They were gone. Amara and Takoda didn't stop until they crossed the river and climbed the far bank. Only then did they pause, gasping for breath. "Are you hurt?" Takoda asked. Amara shook her head, though her whole body trembled. "The papers. I still have them." She pulled the documents from inside her jacket, miraculously dry. Takoda exhaled in relief. "Those men will report back to Cortland," he said. "He'll know we have evidence. Things are going to get worse." "Worse than being shot at?" "Much worse." Takoda's expression was grim. "Cortland won't risk us showing those papers to anyone who matters. He'll come for the camp. Soon." The weight of it settled over Amara like a stone. She'd wanted answers. Now she had them, but the truth had made her a target, and everyone sheltering her was in danger because of it. "I'm sorry," she said. "I brought this on you." "No. Burke and Cortland brought this on us. You just uncovered it." Takoda met her eyes. "But now we fight, together." Amara looked at the papers in her hand, then back toward the camp. Somewhere out there, William Cortland was planning his next move. And Clayton Burke, said if he was alive, was counting on her silence. She folded the papers and tucked them away. "Then let's make sure we win." They rode hard for the camp, knowing the storm was coming. The camp erupted when they arrived. People surrounded them, voices overlapping in Lakota and English, demanding answers. Takoda raised his hand for silence. "Gather everyone. We need to talk." Within minutes, the entire community had assembled. Kimimela stood at the front, arms crossed. The older man from the night before, whose name Amara learned was Clayton, leaned heavily on a walking stick. Faces young and old watched with fear and anger. Takoda spread the documents on a wooden crate. Clayton Burke sold his land to William Cortland 3 weeks before he died, or before he was supposed to have died. He pointed to the map. He also sold detailed information about our camp, numbers, resources, locations, everything Cortland would need to build a legal case against us. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "This is proof of conspiracy," Clayton said. "We take this to the territorial judge." "Demand protection." "The judge is in Cortland's pocket," Kimimela said flatly. "As is the sheriff. We have no allies in the law." "Then we fight," a young man said. His name was Kohana, and fire burned in his eyes. "We defend what's ours." "Against how many?" Kimimela challenged. "Cortland can hire 50 men, 100. We have 20 who can fight, and half of those are boys. So we run?" Kohana's voice rose. "Like we've run before? How many times do we retreat before there's nowhere left to go?" The question hung in the air. Amara saw the pain on every face. These people had already lost so much. There might be another way, she said quietly. All eyes turned to her. She felt the weight of their stares, the suspicion. She was still an outsider, still untrusted. These documents prove fraud, Amara continued. But they're not enough by themselves. We need more. We need to prove Clayton Burke is alive and that Cortland paid him to fake his death. And how do we do that? Clayton asked. We find Burke. Amara's voice grew stronger. The letter mentioned California. That's where he was headed. If we can track him down and get him to confess, we have everything we need. California is 2,000 miles away, Kimmy Miller said. We don't have time. Then we bring Cortland us, Takoda said slowly. His eyes met Amara's, and she saw he understood her thinking. We let him know we have evidence. We make him desperate. That's suicide, Kohana protested. No, it's strategy. Takoda's voice was calm but firm. Cortland thinks he's safe. He thinks Burke is dead and the evidence burned. If he learns we have proof of the conspiracy, he'll panic. Desperate men make mistakes. Kim and Mella studied them both. You're proposing we draw him out, force a confrontation. Yes, Amara said, but on our terms. In a way that exposes him publicly. If we can make his crime visible, he loses his power. Or we all die, Clayton said grimly. We're going to die anyway if we do nothing, Takoda replied. At least this gives us a chance. Silence fell. Amara could feel the tension, the fear. These people had been pushed to the edge too many times. Trust was a luxury they couldn't afford. Finally, Kimmy Miller spoke. What do you need? Takoda exhaled. Time. And witnesses. We need people Cortland can't buy or intimidate. People who matter. The railroad inspector, Clayton said suddenly. Marcus O'Shea. He's coming through next week to survey the new track extension. He's federal, not territorial. Cortland has no influence over him. Can we trust him? Amara asked. He's fair. Honest. Clayton nodded slowly. If we can show him evidence of fraud that affects federal land surveys, he'll act on it. Takoda turned to Amara. 1 week. Can you keep those papers safe for 1 week? Yes. Then here's what we do. Takoda addressed the crowd. We fortify the camp. Prepare for attack, but we don't strike first. We wait for Cortland to make his move, and when he does, we make sure Marcus O'Shea is here to witness it. You're gambling with our lives, Kohana said. Yes, I am. Takoda's voice was steady. But I'm also giving us the best chance we have. If anyone has a better plan, speak now. No one did. The meeting dispersed. People moved with purpose, organizing defenses, rationing supplies. Amara helped where she could, carrying water, sorting food stores. No one spoke to her directly, but the hostility had softened. She was useful. That was something. As the sun set, Takoda found her near the fire. You should know something, he said quietly. If this goes badly, they'll blame you. You brought the danger here, I know, and you're still willing to stay? Amara looked at the camp, at families huddled together, children playing despite the fear. She thought of Philadelphia, of the loneliness that had driven her west, of Clayton Burke's lies and William Cortland's greed. I'm tired of being somewhere I don't belong, she said. Maybe I don't belong here either. But at least here, I can fight for something that matters. Takoda nodded slowly. There's something else you should know, about why I helped you that first day. You said you knew what it was like to find ashes. My wife, she died 3 years ago. Cholera. His voice was quiet, controlled. I couldn't save her, couldn't protect her. When I saw you standing on that platform alone and lost, I saw her. I saw what she must have felt when she knew she was dying and I could do nothing. Amara's throat tightened. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just survive. Make sure this wasn't for nothing. Before she could respond, a rider burst into camp. It was one of the scouts, his horse lathered with sweat. Takoda, they're coming. Everyone froze. Who? Takoda demanded. Cortland's men. 20 of them, maybe more. They're 5 miles south and moving fast. Panic rippled through the camp. Kimimela began shouting orders, directing families to the center, positioning the few fighters they had at the perimeter. Amara's heart raced. They can't know we have the documents. We were careful. The man who shot at us, Takoda said grimly. They must have reported that we were at the ranch. Cortland's assuming we found something. 5 miles, Clayton said. We have maybe an hour. Not enough time to evacuate, Kimimela said. We fight here. Takoda grabbed Amara's arm. The papers. Hide them. Somewhere they'll never find them even if they tear this camp apart. Amara's mind raced. Where? Where could she hide evidence that had to survive fire, violence, search? Then she knew. She ran to Kimimela's tent, grabbed the metal box they found at the ranch, and placed the documents inside. Then she raced to the edge of camp where the supply wagon stood. Underneath the largest wagon was a water barrel. She opened it, sealed the metal box in oiled leather, and submerged it completely. The water would protect the papers from fire. The barrel would be overlooked in a search for hidden documents. When she returned, the camp had transformed into a fortress. Wagons formed barriers. Rifles were distributed. Children were hidden in the center tent. Takoda stood on a crate, addressing the fighters. We hold them here. We don't attack unless they attack first. When they demand to search the camp, we refuse. If they push, we defend. Understood? Grim nods all around. Kohana approached Amara, pressing a pistol into her hand. You know how to use this. I fired a gun before. Good. Stay near the center. Protect the children if anyone breaks through. The sun had set completely now. Darkness pressed in from all sides. In the distance, the sound of hoofbeats grew louder. Amara gripped the pistol, her hand steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. William Cortland was coming, and everything they fought for hung in the balance. The riders emerged from the darkness like demons. Torches blazed in their hands, casting wild shadows across the prairie. Amara counted 23 men, all armed, all hardened. At their center rode a man in an expensive coat, his face sharp and cruel in the firelight. William Cortland. He raised his hand, and the riders stopped 50 yards from the camp perimeter. The silence was suffocating. Takoda White Eagle, Cortland's voice boomed across the distance. I'm here on behalf of the territorial government. You and your people are trespassing on claimed land. You have 1 hour to vacate, or we will remove you by force. Takoda stepped forward, rifle in hand but pointed down. This land was guaranteed by treaty. We have every right to be here. Cortland laughed, cold and mocking. Treaties are for times of peace. These are not peaceful times. You're occupying land needed for cattle grazing and railway expansion. The government has authorized your removal. Show me the authorization, Takoda demanded. I don't answer to you. Cortland's smile vanished. 1 hour. After that, anyone remaining will be considered hostile. We're not leaving. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Cortland's men shifted, hands moving to weapons. The tension was a physical thing, pressing down on everyone. Then you're fools, Cortland said, and you'll die like fools. He turned his horse to leave, and Amara felt her chance slipping away. Without thinking, she stepped out from behind the wagon barrier. Mr. Cortland. Everyone froze. Takoda hissed her name in warning, but she ignored him. Cortland turned, his eyes narrowing as he studied her. And who might you be? Amara Johnson. I was meant to marry Clayton Burke. Something flickered in Cortland's expression. Recognition. Worry. Burke is dead. You have my condolences. His voice was smooth, but Amara heard the calculation beneath it. Izzy. She took another step forward. Because I found something interesting in the ruins of his ranch. Documents. Maps. Letters. The silence that followed was absolute. Cortland's jaw tightened. I don't know what you think you found, but I found proof of conspiracy, Mr. Cortland. Proof that you paid Clayton Burke to spy on these people. Proof that you helped him fake his death so he could escape to California with your money. Amara's voice rang clear and strong. And I found a map with your signature on it, detailing how you plan to seize this land illegally. Cortland's face went white, then red with rage. You're lying? Am I? Would you like me to show the documents to the Federal Railroad inspector when he arrives next week? She was gambling everything on this moment. If Cortland believed her, he'd be forced to act. If he called her bluff, they were finished. For 5 agonizing seconds, Cortland stared at her. Then he smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing Amara had ever seen. You made a mistake, girl. A fatal one. He turned to his men. Burn everything. Find those documents and kill anyone who tries to stop you. No, Takoda shouted, but it was too late. Cortland's men charged. Gunfire erupted. Amara dove behind the wagon as bullets tore through canvas and wood. Screams filled the air. She heard Takoda shouting orders, heard Kimmy Miller directing the children to safety. The camp exploded into chaos. Amara fired her pistol at the advancing riders, her hands shaking. She'd never shot at a person before. The recoil jarred her arms, but she kept firing until the chamber was empty. A rider broke through the barrier, torch raised to set the tents ablaze. Kohana tackled him from the side, and they went down in a tangle of fists and fury. Amara. Takoda appeared beside her, pressing fresh ammunition into her hands. Fall back. Get to the center tent. What about you? I'm staying here. Go. She ran, reloading as she moved. All around her, people fought desperately. Old Clayton swung his walking stick like a club, taking down a man twice his size. Women threw pots of boiling water at the attackers. Children huddled in terror. This was her fault. She provoked Cortland, forced his hand. Now people were dying because of her. A hand grabbed her shoulder. She spun, pistol raised, and found herself face to face with a man she'd never seen before. He was bleeding from a cut on his forehead, his clothes torn. Please, he gasped. Please, you have to listen. Who are you? My name is Clayton Burke. The world stopped. It was him, older than his photograph, worn down by guilt and fear, but unmistakably him, the man who had promised her a future and delivered a nightmare. You bastard. Amara whispered. I know what I did to you, what I did to these people, but Cortland will kill everyone here. You have to stop this. Stop it, you started it. She wanted to shoot him. Her finger trembled on the trigger. Cortland has my family, Clayton said desperately. My real wife, my daughter. He took them 3 months ago. Said he killed him if I didn't help him. I had no choice. Everyone has a choice. You're right. Tears streamed down Clayton's face, and I made the wrong ones. But I can fix this. Let me fix this. Another explosion rocked the camp. A tent went up in flames, orange light dancing across the chaos. How? Amara demanded. How can you possibly fix this? I have proof. Real proof. Not just documents. I have a signed confession from Cortland. Recorded conversations. Payment records. Everything. I was going to run, but I can't. Not anymore. Too many people have suffered because of me. Amara's mind raced. If Clayton was telling the truth, they could end this. But trusting him felt impossible. Where's the proof? Hidden. In the bank in Deadwood. But I can testify. I can tell everyone what Cortland did. He'll kill you the second you show your face. I know. Clayton met her eyes, and she saw genuine remorse there. I deserve it, but maybe I can do one decent thing before I die. A bullet struck the wagon next to them, splinters exploding. Amara grabbed Clayton's arm. Come with me. She dragged him toward the center of camp, where Takoda and Kimmy Miller were organizing the defense. When they saw Clayton, weapons raised instantly. Don't shoot, Amara shouted. He has information we need. That's Clayton Burke, Kimmy Miller snarled. He's the reason this is happening, and he's the reason it can end, Amara said. Tell them everything. Clayton looked at the faces surrounding him, all filled with hatred and distrust. He took a shaking breath. My name is Clayton Burke, and I'm a coward who destroyed lives for money. But William Cortland is worse. He kidnapped my family to force me into this scheme. He plans to seize all the land from here to the railroad, displacing hundreds of people. He has judges, sheriffs, even territorial senators in his pocket. But I have proof of all of it. Written confessions, recordings, everything. Where? Takoda demanded. Deadwood. First, National Bank. Safety deposit box under the name John Smith. That's 2 days' ride from here, Clayton said. Then we hold for 2 days, Takoda said grimly. An explosion shattered the night. One of the wagons erupted in flames, and Cortland's men poured through the gap. We can't hold 2 hours, Kohana shouted, firing into the mass of attackers. Amara looked at Clayton, then at Takoda, then at the burning camp around them. An impossible choice crystallized in her mind. What if we don't wait, she said. What if we bring Cortland here and force him to confess in front of witnesses? How? Kimimela asked. Amara's heart pounded. The plan forming in her head was insane, suicidal, but it was the only chance they had. We give him what he wants, he said. We give him me. Absolutely not, Takoda said immediately. Listen to me. Amara grabbed his arm. Cortland came here for the documents. He thinks I have them. If I surrender, offer to give them to him, he'll stop the attack to get what he wants, and then he'll kill you and burn the camp anyway, Kimimela said. Not if we have witnesses. Amara turned to Clayton. The railroad inspector, Marcus Osei. When does he arrive? Tomorrow morning. First train. Clayton's eyes widened. You want to stall until we have a federal witness Cortland can't touch. Amara looked at Takoda. If I can keep him talking until dawn, keep him from destroying the camp or say we'll see everything. Cortland's attack, his men, the violence, it'll be undeniable. It's 8 hours until dawn, Clayton said. You think Cortland will negotiate for 8 hours? He will if he thinks I'm the only one who knows where the documents are hidden. If he kills me without getting them, he loses everything. Takoda's jaw clenched. This is suicide. It's the only play we have. Amara met his eyes. You said desperate men make mistakes. Let's make him desperate. Another volley of gunfire raked the camp. A woman screamed. Time was running out. Do it, Kimimela said quietly. Everyone turned to her. She's right. It's the only way. Takoda looked torn but finally nodded. I'm coming with you. No, you're needed here to organize the defense. Amara squeezed his hand. Trust me. Before he could argue, she walked toward the burning perimeter, hands raised. Cortland, I want to talk. The gunfire slowed, then stopped. Through the smoke, she saw Cortland dismount, flanked by armed men. Come forward, he called, slowly. Amara walked into no man's land, her heart hammering. Behind her, she felt the camp watching. Ahead, Cortland's smile was predatory. You want to surrender? He asked. I want to negotiate. You want the documents. I have them hidden. Kill me, and you'll never find them. Cortland's eyes narrowed. Why should I believe you? Because you're smart enough to know I wouldn't show myself without insurance. Amara forced confidence into her voice. I'll give you the documents. In exchange, you leave these people alone. Let them stay on their land. That's not how this works. Then we both lose. The railroad inspector arrives tomorrow morning. If you're still attacking a peaceful camp when he gets here, your entire operation collapses. Every judge and senator you bought won't save you from federal scrutiny. Cortland's face darkened. You're bluffing. Am I? Amara took a step closer. You're a businessman, mister. Cortland, you understand risk and reward. Take the documents, walk away, and you still win. Keep fighting, and you risk everything for nothing. The silence stretched. Cortland studied her, calculating. Where are they? He finally asked. Hidden. I'll tell you at dawn, when the inspector's train arrives. That way, we both have witnesses to ensure the other keeps their word. Dawn is hours away. Then we wait. Cortland's hand moved to his gun. I could torture it out of you. You could try. But I grew up in a Philadelphia slum, Mr. Cortland. I've survived worse than you. Amara's voice was still. And if you kill me before I talk, you lose everything. Your land scheme, your political connections, your future. Is that a gamble you're willing to take? For a moment, she thought he'd shoot her anyway. Then he laughed, bitter and cold. You have courage, I'll give you that. He turned to his men. Cease fire. We're waiting until dawn. Relief flooded through Amara, but she kept her face neutral. Your men pulled back. No one approaches the camp. My men stay where they are. but we won't advance. Cortland smiled. For now. The standoff settled into tense silence. Cortland's men remained at the perimeter, weapons ready. Behind her, Amara heard Takoda organizing the camp, tending wounded, preparing for the possibility that dawn might never come. Hours crawled past. Amara stood between the two forces, alone and exposed. Cortland watched her like a hawk, never taking his eyes away. Then, cutting through the darkness, came a sound that changed everything. A train whistle. That's not possible. The morning train doesn't arrive until 6. But the whistle came again. Closer now. Lights appeared on the horizon. Clayton Burke stumbled forward from the camp, blood on his shirt. I sent a telegram yesterday, before I came in. I told Marcus Osei there was an emergency. Asked him to take the night train. Cortland's face went white. You! I'm done running. Clayton's voice cracked. I'm done letting you destroy lives. Marcus Osei is coming and he's going to hear everything. Kill him, Cortland snarled at his men. Gunfire erupted. Clayton fell, but his words had already done their damage. The train was coming, its lights growing brighter. Cortland grabbed Amara, pressing a gun to her head. Tell me where those documents are or I'll kill you right now. Go ahead, Amara said, her voice steady despite the terror. Shoot me in front of a federal inspector. See how that works out for you? The train screeched to a halt at the nearby platform. Doors opened, and men poured out. The railroad inspector, tall and commanding, strode toward the chaos with armed federal marshals behind him. What's happening here? Marcus Osei's voice boomed across the prairie. Cortland released Amara, stepping back. This is a territorial matter. You have no jurisdiction. I have jurisdiction over any matter affecting federal railway operations. And this land is surveyed for potential expansion. Osei's eyes swept the scene. The burning camp, the armed men, the wounded. Someone explained. Now, Amara stepped forward. My name is Amara Johnson. William Cortland hired Clayton Burke to provide false information to justify seizing Lakota land illegally. I have documentary evidence of conspiracy, fraud, and attempted murder. She's lying, Cortland said desperately. Then you won't mind if we investigate. Osei turned to his marshals. Detain Mr. Bobber, Cortland and his men. Secure the area. You can't do this. Cortland's composure shattered. I have rights. I have connections. And I have federal authority. Osei's voice was ice. Marshal, if he resists, shoot him. The marshals moved in. Cortland's men, seeing they were outgunned and outmaneuvered, surrendered. Within minutes, they were all in custody. Amara ran to where Clayton lay. Takoda was already there, pressing cloth to the wound. Is he alive, Takoda said. Barely. Clayton's eyes fluttered open. Did it work? It worked, Amara said, tears streaming down her face. It's over. Good. Clayton coughed, blood on his lips. My family, in Cortland's ranch house. The cellar. Please. We'll find him, Takoda promised. You have my word. Clayton smiled weakly. I'm sorry for everything. I know, Amara whispered. He closed his eyes and went still. The sun rose slowly over the Dakota plains, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Marcus Osei interviewed witnesses, documented evidence, and promised full federal investigation. The documents Amara had hidden were retrieved, sealed as evidence. Cortland's scheme collapsed. His political allies abandoned him. The land remained with Takoda's people, protected now by federal treaty enforcement. 3 weeks later, Amara stood at the edge of the rebuilt camp. Winter had arrived, but the community had endured. Stronger now, united, Takoda approached, his expression gentle. The morning train leaves in an hour. You can still go back east. Start over. Amara looked at the prairie, vast and unforgiving and beautiful. She thought of Philadelphia, of the loneliness that had driven her here, of Clayton's lies and Cortland's greed, and the people who sheltered her despite every reason not to. I don't want to go back, she said. I want to stay, if you have me. Takoda's smile was sunrise breaking through clouds. We'd be honored. She took his hand and together they walked toward the camp, toward home. toward a future built not on promises written in letters, but on trust forged in fire. Some journeys end where they were meant to begin, and some strangers become family in the space between one heartbeat and the next. Amara Johnson had come west seeking a husband and found something far more valuable. She'd found herself. The end.